Okay. Hi, everyone. As you guys know, I've started this podcast about a month ago, and my podcast is about my entrepreneurial journey and how I share my journey with you guys, my struggles, my successes, etc. And I thought, what better way to expand this by interviewing other entrepreneurs, which is either starting out or entrepreneurs that is already established and successful. And today I want to welcome Chris from the Gold Coast. He is an established entrepreneur, and he is a director of a company called JCF Media. And he and his brother has a successful Facebook group called Growth Marketing Hacks, and they are teaching people how to get customers online. Hello, Chris.
Hi, Joy. It's a pleasure to be on here.
Thank you so much for agreeing to have this interview with me. I really, really appreciate that. I'm super excited, so I might stumble on my words, so just bear with me. What makes this even more exciting is you are my first ever person that I've interviewed, so this is pretty awesome for me.
Beautiful.
So I really appreciate that, so thank you. I have been following you and your brother for quite a bit since you started your Facebook group, and all the golden nuggets that you guys drop all the time, I've used them, and I absolutely love them. And yes, so I thought, this was great to interview you, so thank you for that. And just a little bit about you. So Chris, do you mind telling people where you're from?
Yeah, brilliant. So as Joy mentioned, I am from the Gold Coast. So obviously, no one's necessarily from the Gold Coast, born in Sydney, but been here since I was really young. So grew up on the Gold Coast, which is a very unique place in Australia where it's not really got a real culture or anything behind it because it's still a new area. So it's full of opportunity and a lot of people who don't believe there's any opportunity as well. So there's a whole different world out there outside the Gold Coast, but you kind of miss it when you're in here. So I grew up always, I was lucky enough to go to a decent high school and around a lot of great people. So from there, that sort of kickstarted me in my entrepreneurial journey, which is quite an odd one, how I sort of fell into it all.
Okay, that sounds awesome. And what is what do you do as a favorite pastime? So when you're in the Gold Coast and you're on your happy moments, what is your favorite thing to do?
My favorite thing to do, I'm one of those people who really thoroughly enjoys relaxing and watching TV and sport. I know a lot of people say, I'll go to the beach or anything like that. I've lived 10 minutes away from the beach my entire life, and I think I've been 4 or 5 times.
Oh, wow.
When I was younger, I did had jet skis around the backyard and was able to go on them a lot, so I loved that. But as I start to get a little bit older, I really thoroughly enjoy having that time to kind of relax, recharge, because when you're running a business, you want to train every morning so you can have that energy and you're always on. So getting those few hours where you just get to turn the brain off a little bit is awesome.
Yes, and you need that, and I can relate to that definitely, because if you work stupid hours sometimes being an entrepreneur and you just need to cut off a little bit. I can relate to
Definitely.
that. And have you always been an entrepreneur? Is it in your blood? Was your family, entrepreneurs, or was it just something that you started? Tell us a little bit about when you started as an entrepreneur and, what was your inspiration, I guess, to become an entrepreneur.
For sure. So my dad was an entrepreneur. He still runs his own business even now. And he started as a box salesperson, like a cardboard box salesperson,
Oh, wow.
30, 40 years ago or something like that. So that was like his second job out of school. He was a butcher and then went into selling cardboard boxes. And then he started a business off the back of that. And he did really well, had quite a fortunate upbringing because of his success. And one thing he always said to me was, I'm nothing special. I just learned how to sell. And then I learned what I believed head office were doing wrong. So I started my own business to fill those needs, and he did quite well out of it. And so growing up, he always said, I don't care what you want to do. I wanted me to be educated, which I kind of didn't really do well in high school and uni. But he wanted me to just learn how to sell and go find something to do from there. So coming out of high school, I did go to uni for a year. In that time, I was starting my sales jobs, which made me end up deciding to leave uni to pursue a career in real estate. So before that, I did all these different jobs, door-to-door sales, selling Foxtel, paid TV, all those different things. And then I started in real estate. And I spent 2 years in real estate, and what I found is that it wasn't necessarily my passion. I didn't want to talk about houses all day. I was never someone who would walk around the property showing, oh, this has got these beautiful marble bench tops, and be like, yeah, there's the kitchen, and just let me know if you need to ask those questions that I've Googled, like rates and stuff. So I wasn't the best agent because it just wasn't exciting to me. And I decided to really find a lazy way to do my job. My ultimate job was to get leads for my boss. And I found the laziest way to do that, and that was using Google AdWords and then pushing people to a little shoddy website that converted them into a lead. And from that, I started to get the odd lead from my boss, and I really started enjoying that. And then from there is where I sort of started thinking back about my entrepreneurial journey and what my passion was, finding what I love selling. I thought, like, because my dad didn't love cardboard boxes, that I didn't love real estate, I could still do well out of it. So I was still using the message that he had. Talking to my dad later on, especially now, I realized that he didn't love the cardboard boxes, but he loved working with the people, and he loved helping create solutions. And I just wasn't feeling that in real estate. So yeah, that kind of made me start looking for other things.
Okay, that's a pretty cool story, actually. And what was your, so you said that obviously like real estate wasn't for you. So what was that next stepping stone for you that you actually decided to start your own business? What was your driven motivation to say, okay, today I'm doing it?
Okay, so the crazy thing, I didn't necessarily start JCF. Jason started it on his own. That's why the JCF is actually his full name initials. So he gets that. So we sort of say it's like Jason Chris Fox, but it's actually his full name. So when I was in real estate, I was starting to do these AdWord websites and starting to get a bit of results, and I really enjoyed it. I started talking to my brother about it a lot more. And he was doing social media, like content management and stuff like that for clients. And he had some unique clients. I don't know, we had the story of one of his first clients was a website that made cows poo better. So I had to look at a lot of photos of cow poo. And he would talk to the client and be like, oh, this photo looks way healthier than this. Just like, just like cow poo to me. And so we talked about that, and I talked about what I was doing. He's like, that's really cool. So you're getting customers using marketing, and we decided to sort of, sorry, my computer's just playing up here.
Oh, you're good.
Oh, there we go. I just had something going on. So then we started talking about it more, and we decided to combine that together. Remember the phone call, actually, Jason goes, oh, why don't you come do this and we'll try help physios. I had never considered leaving real estate at that point. I know I didn't like real estate, but I hadn't even considered leaving it. And he said, let's go ahead and do this together. And we did. And nearly a year and a half later, here we are running the business together. Transitioned a lot through that time, and yeah, starting to grow, and now sort of looking to move into a new phase of helping people buy information products and coaching as well, which is something we're really excited about, because done for you is really enjoyable and you can do really well out of it. But I feel limited in my ability to help as many people as I want. You can make enough money to get by, but now you want to start serving more once you get to a certain level.
That's exactly it. And it's that fulfillment, because it does make you feel really good, you know, to just help people. Definitely. It's that giving back to everybody. Definitely.
Absolutely. And, helping as many people as possible.
That's it. And that's the beauty about the internet and Facebook and so on, because you can reach so many more people than, you know, like I'm still curious on how they did this like 20 years ago before these things, and they had to place an advert in the newspaper to coach people. It is definitely different. So at the moment, what do you guys do currently to advertise your business, you know, while we're talking on the whole, you know, online thing?
For sure. So what we do currently, so the big thing for us has been sort of growing a network. I just dealt with a client, well, had a sort of an initial meeting with a potential client who was a referral from a referral who was originally a referral from another client who we just met.
Oh, wow.
So service is the lowest hanging fruit in terms of growing your business that we have found. We are a marketing agency, but the hard part about being a marketing agency is when you're going out there and market, you're competing against people who are masters at their craft. So your cost per acquiring customer is very high. So we're now looking at changing that model into sort of how ClickFunnels does it, where we're getting paid before the customer becomes a customer. So that's something we're still sort of in the growth phase of. And yeah, we have been very lucky in terms of having a lot of network, but Facebook ads have brought us in customers as well. So we've been sort of picking and choosing and testing everything to get to where we are. But the big thing that people underestimate is if they're starting out is cold emailing can really help. Like cold emailing works. And it's not something you have to be stressed about. You don't have to be anxious picking up the phone. A lot of people say, oh, you can just cold call, which I did in real estate, so I know how to do it. I'm past wanting to do that anymore, and I'm no longer scared of it, but it's something that a lot of people don't want to do. And it's the easiest way, but it's not necessarily the most enjoyable, and not everyone can do it. People, or gurus always say anyone can do it. It's like, well, there's still that fear, and so many people just don't want to get over that fear, and they want to find other ways. So cold email is the best way for that.
Yeah, yeah. And I actually used to be, fun fact about me, I actually used to be in cold calling. I did probably out of my sales career, probably about 3 years of cold calling in different companies. And I was good at it. I made a lot of sales, but I hated it. So
exactly.
And a lot of people do. I mean, it's not the most enjoyable thing to do because you get a lot of rude people, but you know, once you have good conversation, it makes up for that. But I get that.
Definitely.
So when you guys started this whole business, what was your mission at the outset? You know, what was your aim? What did you want to achieve, you know, off the bat? What was your first thing that you hope to have achieved out of all of this?
I think this is actually kind of where we went wrong, where we wanted to make XYZ dollars. We wanted to make 200 grand a week. Like that was the only thing we thought about. So every time we made a step up, it didn't feel like anything because we were so far away from that big goal. That was just an external, like external goals are great, but there was no sense of pride or enjoyment. Like we'd bring on another client and they'd be paying us. We wouldn't be like happy that we'd help them. It wasn't until we sort of started, we actually went to a Tony Robbins event, UPW, where we started understanding more of our purpose and having like internal driven desires of what we wanted, to the point where I remember we were a client's website we had done. We saw one of their ads with their, just on a random street corner, and it had like a little sign that had their ad. And I remember just having goosebumps, being like, we built that, like we did that, like we helped them there. And that's when I started sort of really loving the business and wanting to grow and move things forward. I think I went off track for that question again.
No, you were good. You were good. No, I completely understand what you're saying, because, you know, this is a thing that, because I speak with a lot of entrepreneurs, and I'm sure you do the same on a weekly basis. And a lot of them, you know, when they start out, they have this problem of they're setting goals that is unreachable. And then when they don't reach it, they just get disencouraged and I just stop. And this is, you know, and this is the sad thing. And I think this is why I've started, you know, it's one of the reasons why I started this podcast, is to say to people, you know, even if it's very hard, don't give up, you know, just change your path. Don't change everything, you know, don't stop, because this is kind of, you know, this is a big struggle for a lot of people. And so apart from money as the driving factor, and you've mentioned like you like to help people, but what is your long-term goal as far as the business go? You know, is it in terms of helping people? Obviously, that's the passion of you guys. But you know, what is your ultimate goal? Do you want to have like your company listed on a big billboard somewhere, or is it just more you know, you understand what I'm saying? So what is your ultimate goal at the end? So do you have like a 5-year goal, a 3-year goal? Where do you guys see yourself in, like, you know, in the future with your business?
Definitely. So we've actually planned this out to the macro level, like 100 years into the future of what we see it. And we see this idea of being a venture capitalist firm and helping all these businesses and all these different things so far into the future that it feels real. But the big thing that I really want to, it's kind of a unique one. So I've always loved technology and loved marketing and love business in general. I'm in marketing because I love business, and I think marketing is one of the most important, if not the most important thing in business.
Agreed.
And I wanted to eventually be a part of one of those things that changes the game, like the Netflix, Uber, or Apple, that just completely changes the world and like leaves a mark that you can't, like, I wanted to be involved in that, whether that be stopping a business from who is like a taxi, like saving the taxis and going, here's what you do. And then going, if there was like the taxi app, like no one had to go to Uber. Uber didn't have to kill taxis. Like I want to save a business from that, or be the one who changed the industry by creating the business that takes over. Because that's a ripple that changes our life. Like I genuinely cannot imagine life without Uber or Netflix. Like, I don't understand how I survived. And also Amazon, Facebook, Google, like I wouldn't know how to function if that didn't exist. Like what would I do with 2 hours of my day?
Yes.
With those things. Like that's what I want to be involved in, because I want to be that much of an impact. Is that?
That's amazing. Yeah. And you know what? I can see you guys doing that. I can. Because personally, I just love your group, your Facebook group that you guys have. I've probably I've been on it maybe a couple of weeks, maybe a month, probably a month. And so far I've learned heaps from you guys. So we will drop a link to you guys as well to go to that Facebook group and go and check it out, because it's amazing the golden nuggets that these guys are dropping. And then just one last question for you. So what is your just hold on, let me just rephrase that a little bit more, because we've basically answered a lot of the questions, one question answering two questions, which is great. What do you attribute to success? What is your attribute to success?
This one is my favorite, that I've adopted 6 months ago. And I was listening to a great podcast by Stephen Bartlett, Diary of the CEO, and he had on the guest Tom Bilyeu from Quest Nutrition. And he said something that really sat with me that I had been listening to, but I hadn't been recently. And that is, I know nothing, but I'm willing to learn. The biggest thing is being willing to learn. Like you can see my bookshelf here. I've probably mentioned this 1,000 times, but I have these books sitting on my desk every day, and I'm willing to constantly learn and read and just keep learning from someone who does it, and just accept that I don't know everything. So that takes away when you're not where you want to be. It's like, okay, I'm not where I want to be. I don't know how to get there, but I'm going to learn. It takes a lot of stress off, like even like talking about it, like relieves stress. You're like, yep, I don't know yet. I don't have to know yet. It's like when I was younger, I was pretty good at soccer, but I wasn't the best. And I thought, no, I should be better. I should be making the A teams. And I would beat myself up for it. I wish I had the understanding there. It's like, okay, yep, you missed it. Now what do you have to learn in order to get there?
Yes.
And that's the biggest trait that I think is a real difference maker. Just being open to learning and then going out and committing to learning as well. So it's a self-education, which people always talk about as, oh, there's no one thing, but that's the one thing. It's being open for me with learning a lot of other things.
Yes, no, definitely. I completely. And those two books, the books for the people that's going to listen to the podcast and not see the video, is from Russell Brunson from ClickFunnels, and the one is Expert Secrets, and the other one is .com. And it's amazing books. It's my marketing Bibles. I don't have them with me, but they're on my table all the time. I've got all these little post-its in them as well. So.
Yes, I've got all the post-it notes in them.
You have to. It's just that awesome.
I'm paid to get my Expert Secrets copy transcribed. I recorded it and got it transcribed. So I have the copy when I copy and paste. And I'm writing the perfect webinar right now.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. So one last question before I'm going to give you your time to tell us more about your business, but one last question, which is something that I think a lot of entrepreneurs are struggling with when you start out is what do you do every day to motivate yourself? Because I mean, nobody just wakes up every single day for 365 days and go, yeah, I'm going to do this. You know, you have days where you wake up and you're just feeling tired and unmotivated. So what do you do when you have moments and days like that? What do you do to feel good, you know, to say, okay, this day is going to boom and I'm going to be successful? What do you know, what's your little trick?
Okay, so there's sort of a couple tricks that I use. One thing is I try to go to F45 in the morning because it's a scheduled 6 a.m. accountability, has amazing music and it's energetic, and I love the people there and I love doing that, but that doesn't always happen and that doesn't always work out. So one thing that I make sure I do is I probably piss off my roommates, but I always play music in the shower, and I have a playlist with about 20 or 30 songs that are like really motivating. Like I have like all my favorite songs that are just super uplifting. I play that in the shower. So I'm dancing in the shower and I'm just excited. And then I'm like singing like my favorite song, and that just instantly raises your mood. Because what I was doing, I was playing music in the morning, but I was just playing the random songs. And then you'd have like the breakup songs that come on. And this was just like the songs that just made you feel amazing. And every morning I'd probably be 4 or 5, and then I'd walk into my office and I'm just buzzing to start the day. Yeah. That's the big thing. People overcomplicate it. Like I did the priming with Tony Robbins, which I still do a little bit of, but the big thing is I call them my morning mood setter playlist, and just like the most exhilarating music you can listen to.
That's great. I'm doing exactly the same, and for some reason this morning I had some Linkin Park music that was jamming along, so that was great. I
have Linkin Park in there as well.
It's awesome because it's great music to listen to. You know, you uplift yourself.
Exactly right.
Tell me about and tell everybody about about your business and how they can reach you guys if they need your services, and obviously we'll be dropping links so they can click on them as well. So just tell everybody about what you guys do, how you can help people, and so.
Definitely. Okay. So we have two sort of different sections of the business. We have our sort of coaching, training business, which is something we're building on. So if you wanted to, whether you're a marketing agency owner or you're a business owner who's still sort of in the early phases, you're not ready to sort of start spending money on marketing yet, you can join our group. It's called Growth Marketing Hacks. To access it, it's facebook.com/group/growth marketing hacks, which will be linked below. And the other thing is JCF Media. So that is our marketing agency. It's our Facebook ads agency. And if you wanted to sort of have a chat to us, we offer a free demo for anyone who wants to learn more. jcfmedia.com.au/demo. So that'll be linked as well if you wanted to know more. But yeah, definitely get involved in that free community, because that's what we're focusing on more than anything. But if you did want to we're happy to meet with you guys as well. So jump on the group, Growth Marketing Hacks. We do weekly lives, which today we did it this week we did it Wednesday, but moving forward we're doing it Thursday, 9 a.m. Gold Coast time, which I have no idea how time zones work, so good luck.
I'm so confused with time zones.
As we've discovered, we're not the best at time zones, are we?
Yeah, no, and I would definitely recommend everybody going onto that group, because I have learned lots from you guys. So I thank you for that, because the golden nuggets that you guys have dropped has really helped me millions. So thank you so much. And thank you, Chris, for agreeing with this interview, and thank you for having an interview with me. And I hope you all the big successes, and I can see you guys being the next Uber or the next Netflix or the next something. You definitely have to drive.
I have no idea what's going to be a part of it, whether it's going to be in marketing, whether it's going to be in photography, or what it's going to be.
Well, whatever it is, I know you guys are going to be good. You've got to drive. So, and I think it's in your blood. I mean, if your dad was successful with cardboard boxes of all things, it's definitely in your blood.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of cardboard boxes. There's a photo of me when Jason and I, when I was like 10, he was like 12 or something. We built a big fort out of all these boxes we had to put together. It was crazy. I don't know if Dad's clients liked it, but we did the job. So.
That's awesome. All right, Chris. Nice talking to you. Have a great time. Okay.
Thanks, Joy. Thanks, Sita.